Welcome back to the program. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. Well, you just heard there the pledge of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And of course, the pledge was written in 1976 by Professor Felicia Adebola. She wrote the pledge aimed at teaching every citizen of the country to honor and serve in the best way possible. Now, a lot of people, of course, recite the National Pledge of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not taking into cognizance what they have just read, not understanding what they've recited, and not taking to heart all of the wordings of the National Pledge. But if you do not believe in a thing, can you act in accordance with what you've read or what you've recited? This perhaps prompted the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, to ask or to urge that the pledge of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as a matter of necessity, be recited after the national anthem at every public event. Will this have any bearing on Nigerians, especially public office holders? The National Pledge is in discourse on the conversation today. And joining us today to take a look at this is Sheikh Ibrahim Olaniyi. He's a social observer. Thank you for being here on the program today, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's start this way. The National Pledge of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
He's smiling. I'm just wondering why.
It should be a pledge, an allegiance to the country. And of course, this is one of the first things that every child is taught, especially from the kindergarten, or especially when they can. Of course, even when you ask a 2-year-old to read the pledge, you would hear it just like that. But do we really understand as a people the wordings of the National Pledge?
There was such a time as when the national anthem and the national pledge were very, very functional. There was such a time as when they were what they really were, that is an oath, a pledge, a promise made to a country with a view to upgrading its status in the Committee of Nations. Because progress cannot come to any country without a lot of contribution and sacrifice from its citizens.
God.
So, if you look at the words of the pledge, I pledge to Nigeria, my country. You are promising your country to be faithful, loyal, and honest. Let's take those three. So many people are not even faithful in their marriages and relationships. So many people are not faithful in their places of work. They are not honest. They are not loyal. Even in the government, it is any government in power for some people. Ajib. So, gradually it has become something that we just utter with the mouth for the sake of it. I mean, here is a country where a nominee for the post of ambassador could neither recite the anthem nor the pledge. And I'm saying this with all authority because newspapers carry
it was live.
Yes. So you can see what there is, where the problem is actually coming from. Only an elderly statesman, only a person who is sincere, who knows the meaning of that pledge, will urge the country to bring it back to memory and try to make it functional. Anyone you see today who is playing the role of snowball, as we have it in George Orwell's Animal Farm, you will know that the driving force behind the effort that person is making is his allegiance to that pledge. His an effort to fulfill that pledge. I made a pledge to this country, I'm going to fulfill it. Before I left secondary school, we had our own version
of the pledge?
And not on the assembly ground, though.
Okay, not official.
Not on the assembly ground. Okay. But when we are in our class, saying to serve Nigeria without my strength. And then some daredevil tried to say it on the assembly ground, and our principal said, "No, you don't say that. You are not to serve Nigeria without your strength. You should serve Nigeria with all your strength."
Because you were being mischievous.
both sounds the same. But you see, even when adults say it today, the opposite is actually what they are doing.
Right.
So little wonder now if we found ourselves where we are today. Nigeria is not working. Not every single person you ask a question about why Nigeria is not working. The first response is because we have bad leadership. No. We are blessed with everything. There have been so many leaders with very good intention who have come to that position of leadership, and they have tried their best, even at almost the cost of their lives. Some even died trying. But the cause of the failure is the citizenry. Can you imagine if government said, okay, let's alleviate suffering for certain set of people, the masses, and the person in charge of distributing these alleviation things suddenly decide to, diverse it for personal use, and it's an agreed thing among their caucus, and you, the masses for whom this benefit was meant, are not even aware of it until it was too late. To serve Nigeria with all my strength. And then only for us to start viewing a video where people opened a warehouse and they were dragging out brand new Okada and all kind of food stuff. Only for the person to say, I actually meant to give it out on my birthday. Was it meant for your birthday?
But the person in question was a leader at that particular time.
He was. And that is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, the masses at a point in time were willing to really serve. For instance, the teachers who taught us, anything from 40 up, the teachers who taught us, despite their meager salaries, did a good job. We didn't have to go to private schools. I went to Jakonde School, yes, and I'm proud to say it.
Proudly so.
Proud to say it. I went to his primary school, secondary school, his LASU, yes. I did my first degree and second degree there. So, those teachers who were teaching us then, you dare not rubberneck during exam. They were doing their jobs conscientiously with the hope that when these children grow up and they become important people in life, they will also benefit from it. But to their chagrin, these are the children that will become head officers in the civil service. They will be in charge of paying pensions out. The same
Sheikh,
teacher that taught
I
you,
love what you just raised.
your son will be the one depriving you of that pension.
The Nigerian pledge started by, I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength.
Yes.
These teachers, military men,
yes,
civil servants,
yes,
when they were active, they served Nigeria with all
their strength. But
now they are retired.
They were not.
But they are living in penury.
Yes.
So for a generation that is watching us now, oh, look at my mom, look at my dad,
discouraged,
right,
demoralized.
They served their country with all their strength.
With all their strength. And
now they are retired.
Right.
They are more or less like a pauper.
So that also could be a reason why they do not believe.
People are now disenchanted with the whole thing.
So we are not walking the talk.
People are disenchanted.
Sheikh, we are not walking the talk.
No, we are not.
Because when you look at those in position of authority, those we elected, those we appointed, the quality of governance that they are giving to the people has no connection between their conscience and this national pledge.
No, it hasn't. If it has, then things will not be the way it is now. But what I'm saying is, the overall head is usually the person we all concentrate on, and the person we all shift all our blames on. I'm not a devil's advocate. I'm not soliciting for anyone.
Right.
I'm not talking in particular about a particular person. I'm talking of all the leaders that have led this country, especially those who meant well, but were sabotaged one way or the other. We will shift all our blames, but he has probably, as befits his office, he has delegated the authorities to some other people. You see, when you delegate a duty, I learned that from Murtala Muhammad, may Allah have mercy on him. When you delegate a duty to people, you follow up and follow through. He is the kind of head of state who will disguise himself and go to hospitals and ask for treatment and see how the nurses are treating the masses,
Right.
and deal with them. And by the time you have heard on the news that the nurses in UCH are all dealt with, the teachers in so-so-so school are dealt with, the workers in NEPA, so-so-so area are dealt with, everybody else will sit tight.
Right.
Because you never know when it
When
will
he'll
be
come.
Your turn.
your turn. Such people don't live long. They get killed. It's either they kill them completely or they kill their reputation. Like a man who likes to wear khaki and knicker in this country, the owner of Mayflower
Schools.
School
Like Sheikh Olaniyi.
contributed a great deal to the progress of this country. But then when they wanted to, they know they couldn't kill him, but they wanted to ruin his integrity, they gave him one job like that, community bank or so.
People's Bank.
People's Bank. And he started wearing agbada. And before you know it, the next thing I start reading on the magazine is, I have failed. The moment he stops wearing the khaki, he has failed. Maybe the man just kind of made a retrospect into how he was living his life, what he used to be, and what he has become now. How did these people penetrate into my armor? God,
And turn me into
I have
what
failed.
I wasn't meant
You
to be.
understand? These people, they are not just corrupt, they are there, actively prepared to corrupt anyone coming in. They are Napoleons and they have their dogs. So any snowball coming in will either, compromise with them, let them have their way, so you save your life, or you antagonize them and have yourself ousted in very little time. Except, of course, when they, as the hyena, tried you and found out that you are not just a dog, you are a lion, and then they know hyenas don't joke with lions.
Right.
So the only person that can really control them is somebody who has gone through all the cadre of politics and governance and administration and knows everything. The moment Nigerians start getting rewarded for their effort, for their sincerity, for their serving Nigeria with all their strength, that moment people will start, doing more.
Right.
They will do more.
They start living the pledge.
Yes, they will do better. And the country will be better than it is now. But some people would say, we did it for 8 years and failed. So you want to come and do it.
You think you can do it better?
And concede you want to let the world know that we are the bad ones and you are the good ones. If for that alone, if for the fact that some people, we have external forces who will not rejoice at the news that corruption has been ousted from Nigeria. The external forces, you know, the international community, where our politicians take our money to, where the money get frozen in their accounts there, and they will be the one to report to our government that your officials are corrupt. We have so name the amount they have in our bank and all that, so that the government can come up with a tribunal and, you know, start probing them. And while they are probing them, they will freeze that account, and that money is never coming out. That money will be used for
the development
of their own country, and they are making their country so attractive, so welcoming.
At the detriment of Nigeria.
At the detriment of this country, they are making this country so repulsive.
Right, Sheikh. Let's go back to the national pledge. I mean, it's so short. It's just 6 lines, but those words are weighty. And like you rightly pointed out earlier, in trying to analyze those words, you looked at the first 3 words, and you figured that if we're not honest, not faithful to Nigeria, how then can you defend our unity
and uphold our honor
and glory? So,
if you are dishonest in another country, you have ruined the honor of your country.
Sure.
And the unity, we are only united when it is time for football, World Cup, whatever. But the moment the euphoria of that football or whatever has gone down,
we go our separate ways.
We are most disunited when it comes to voting in the right person for the job.
Right.
We are most disunited when it comes to that. And that is where we should be most united. What is disuniting us? Is the greed, is the lack of honesty, is the lack of faith in the project Nigeria. Let me tell you, people are not faithful, loyal to the project Nigeria anymore. You can hear, it's an old song, the Biafra song. And a new song is coming up now, Odua Nation, at least everybody is aware. That is a reaction, a sign that shows that people are no longer faithful to this project called Nigeria.
Okay, talking about faithfulness,
they are not loyal to this project called Nigeria. Hence the sabotage when it comes to project, hence the sabotage when it comes to national integrity.
Okay, talking about faithfulness, loyalty, and honesty, lately we witnessed an alarming rate of inflation, and government have done its best to ensure that at least prices of goods are stabilized. But an average market man or woman out there, they have refused to reduce the prices of their goods and services. Yeah. So where does the application of this national pledge come into play?
Yes, an average market woman probably does not know the pledge. An average market man probably was a victim of those who believed in the pledge, who were his parents, who were given some kind of disservice by the system, who has been disenchanted with the pledge, who has come to realize that everybody lives for himself. One should just live for yourself. So if the government says that I could recall a video where it was announced that all transport fare should be halved.
Yeah, 50%.
To every location, and this was not a theater that was being acted. It was not stage managed. It was real. The passenger gave the conductor half of the money he should have given to the conductor, and the man was ruffled up. And the man insisted it has been announced by the federal government that this transport. Then the statement is the federal government the one buying fuel for me? Because if that thing can be implemented, it should come without you saying that. If the fuel price was made to
Come down.
come down, naturally the masses can fight for themselves.
Right.
Why are you collecting such an amount for that distance? The fuel price has gone down. Even at the market, just tell them the dollar has gone down. The fuel price has gone down. So what's your excuse for selling these
maintaining
things
that price.
as exorbitant? They will be put to shame, and they will not have any other option than to dance to the people's tune.
Right. But Sheikh, earlier you did say that one of the issues that, of course, that you've seen with the country is with the citizenry. But we can't also absolve government of all of these. And so, as going forward, what should government also be doing at ensuring that in their day-to-day dealings with Nigerians, they also respect the wordings of the National Pledge?
They should respect Nigerians' intelligence. We are intelligent. We are not fools. We are not people the government should toy with. So if they make a promise, let them make good that promise. Let them fulfill the promise. In fact, they should talk less, do more. When you talk more and do little, it becomes a kind of gimmick, a propaganda, something a squealer will do. Just sweet talk you to relaxation, and you relax hoping for the goodies to come in, and nothing is coming in.
Right.
And by the time you want to react, it is too late. And that is why the government will never escape the vilification of the masses. They will still vilify you because you make promises. When you were campaigning, you make promises even when you are in government, but you don't fulfill these promises. Like when I was working with a group of schools, you know, when the government of Bola Tinubu, as the governor of Lagos State then, returned school back
to the missionaries.
And then they made promises to us. They employed us en masse and made sweet promises to us, and we were so happy, and we started working. That was 2001. And then later, at a general meeting, when we called them to question on that,
the promises made, the administrative secretary said point blank that it was just a political statement. So if a non-political entity is making a political statement, whom is he mimicking? Right.
Where did he get that from? So now you make promises, but you never fulfill. You set projects and set money aside for the execution of the project, but neither the money nor the project was talked about anymore. And you assume the masses would have all forgotten. Are you faithful, loyal, and honest to Nigerians? Are you serving Nigerians with all your strength while you drink tea in a meeting and you get paid millions for those meetings where you have arrived at nothing? Money that ought to have gone into paying salaries, money that ought to have gone into making life easier.
The masses.
I mean, I could recall a situation where we were still battling with fuel. I'm now hearing about power subsidy too. We were still battling with fuel subsidy, and some set of politicians were buying brand new cars, and they were still complaining that the cars were not classy enough.
And those vehicles were not made in Nigeria.
Oh yes, they were not made in Nigeria.
So how loyal
are you to the country?
Okay, we have identified the fact that, okay, the pledge, national pledge is just there. We are not living in accordance with the national pledge. What are those basic steps that should be taken by the people, the leaders, and of course, national orientation agencies, so that we can begin to make sense of the national pledge?
We try to restructure our democracy Today it is called democracy, but it is a kind of dynasty. And everywhere they try to build dynasty. In the entertainment industry, the moment you find a situation, a father holding a particular post in a place, only leaving the post to have his son come in and hold the same post, and it goes on, then it is a dynasty.
Right.
Like you have in Ilorin. I mean, I wouldn't need to mention names, you already know. The father ruled that state for a while, and when he passed on, the children came up.
We had the same in America as well.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. I said here sometime last year that we should have our own homegrown democracy.
Or governance structure.
What you have, yes, what you have in America is not democracy. When it comes to international policy, foreign policy, they are more autocratic, very autocratic. Internal policy, when it comes to immigrants, they are more selfish, so to speak.
They'll protect their land.
Oh yes, we are not saying they shouldn't, but we are going there to contribute to the progress of their land, to serve their land.
But sometimes they're also scared that you want to take over their land.
They still hurt us. They made our land into what it is. And they are the ones advertising. Advertising free visa, lottery. You can go to Canada. It is still on, very much on.
Sheikh, so what's the link?
Let me just state this point. The Nigerians who are traveling out there should be very, very careful. We can see what is happening to Palestine now. We can see what is happening to so many countries in the world. You might turn out to become African hostages
in those countries
when they have decided to focus on our resources. Those of you who have gone there will now be the hostages they will use to tie our hands to the back
and negotiate.
Otherwise, your children are there, your brothers are there, your fathers are there. We will harm them, we will kill them, we will do this to them. You understand? And then we will not have a choice than to just compromise.
So this democracy that you mentioned, what's the link between my question what should we do, the steps that we need to take?
What we should do, like I said, we should re-engineer our democracy. The present state we have in the democracy now is, if the father is there, the father is already grooming his children to get there, and is already blocking every opportunity for the children of the masses to get there. Unless, of course, if you have two things. If you are extremely intelligent to the point that they found you indispensable, and you are submissive, and you are a son of the masses, well, because of your submissiveness and your usefulness, they will bring you closer to themselves.
Okay.
And then gradually they start bringing you in. But that kind of thing doesn't go around.
Okay.
But if we could have an equal opportunity government, and a government that is based on what have you contributed to the society so far. A government that is based on, if you have done good to this extent, at least we are sure if you are given the opportunity, you will do more than what you have just done. A government that is devoid of the cankerworms, the saboteurs who are already there. And we have two classes of saboteurs. We have those saboteurs that are elected again and again. They are old. They are not tired.
Right.
So they are not retired.
They will always be there.
Yes. And then we have the civil servants too.
Sheikh, before
we continue to renew their birth certificate so they don't get retired.
They don't leave when they are aged.
They don't get to leave. want to reach a certain stage before
they
go.
leave.
But they are also sabotaging
the system. All right, Sheikh, before we allow you go this morning, let's quickly go back to the basics, and that would be your words of advice to teachers who, because we know that the national pledge is one that we recite alongside the national anthem from the cradle, from the schools. How much of education should teachers begin to inculcate around these values to our children? Because if they do not understand why you recite the national anthem or the national pledge, how then do they understand what these things, yes, how they stand for in future?
Well, the school authorities should make it mandatory for the teachers to first be able to read the national anthem and the pledge correctly.
Right.
I mean, it has gone
I agree with you.
that far now. I could recall Oshiomhole sacking some teachers en masse when he was governor
of
Edo
State.
State.
Yes. So if you don't have it, what are you teaching the children? Then the school authorities should also start using that pledge in their mode of operation.
Right.
They should start using the pledge. They should be exemplary models to the children.
Right.
Because what children are
very
good
impressionable
at is mimicking. They like to emulate. They take people as example. What has made me as I am today was the principal of my secondary school when I was in Form 1. That was in 1980, Mr. Olaniyi. Because he was a disciplinarian, and his command of English was impeccable, to the extent that we take jotters to the line to when we go for assembly,
and then jot what he
jot some
says.
words down to check it up on the dictionary, and we improved on our spoken English. And him being a disciplinarian and the way he treats the students, when you fail in Olaniyi's school as a final year student, you are not going out to come back and
To retake
the exam as
an external student. You will repeat the class.
You will repeat the class. And you are not paying special fees for special treatment
compared to what we have now.
Where they start
You were
microchips.
you were treated just like an ordinary student.
Microchips, you know,
Special centers
and all that. And the worst of it all is now that the whistleblower made it known that a certain university was selling certificates to non-students, and government was aware of it, and nothing was heard about it. And you know, usually when you talk of your school that built you, you usually talk of alma mater, that's your secondary school. And you talk of your alumni association, or that is your university, right?
Right.
But these things start from the primary
Level.
school level. So I don't know what magic wand school authorities can wade to make teachers whose English, even during my time, some teachers I run for cover when I especially the student teachers who come from
the universities,
going to teach us when they speak, and
you laugh.
You can imagine.
What should be the role of NOA in this too? The role of NOA.
NOA.
Yes.
National Orientation Agency.
Yes. They should come in to check the quality of what is being dished out to children in each school. During our own time, we used to have inspectors who don't pay lip service to inspection.
Right.
But now, when inspectors are coming, they will call you, they are coming, they would
So
have
you
prepared
package
special dish and a special room for them, and you have envelopes for each of them. And so when they are going, they just pay lip service to their job and go home and write very beautiful report about your school. During our own time, when the inspectors are coming, it is doomsday for both the teachers and the students. If you are dressed in an unkempt manner, you are in for it. If you speak
Bad English.
trash English, man, you are in for it. So, and if you behave in a, I could recall when I was in that Form 1, one of my auntie, my mom's sister, came to that school to teach Agbogjuamo Secondary School beside Lagos State School Management Board. Then she came to the school to teach. I saw her, but I didn't go to her. I didn't relate with her. I didn't behave as if I knew her. I just stayed off because I don't know what she would say if I went to her. So then when they were playing football on the field, I saw a purse, and the purse was filled with Naira notes. And I was in Form 1. I was being given 50 kobo per day, 50 kobo notes. You know, there was 50 kobo notes. So I have 250 Naira per week. Needless to say that won't suffice me. But wallahi, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, it didn't push me
to take that money.
Theft or pilfering other people's property. I took that purse and I went to the staff room and I announced to the teachers there, and it turned out to be her purse.
Oh, your auntie's purse.
And she has been searching for it. And then she looked at me closely, because I and my daddy share some kind of resemblance. So she said, "Come, what is your name?" I said, "Abdulaziz Ibrahim." "Abdulaziz Ibrahim. Do you know me?" I said, "Auntie Funmilayo. I know you now. You are Auntie Funmilayo now. You are my mom's younger sister. Why haven't you come to me all this while?" You are busy now. This is staff room. No student comes into the staff room and feels comfortable. Because not only one teacher.
Yes,
so many of you like that. And when someone is saying something good about you, somebody else is saying that your knicker is torn, your clothes is dirty. Before you leave the
you're a case study already.
You might end up being king. You might end up being king. And you went there for a good thing. So this NOA you are talking about, their main purpose is to try to uplift the quality of the children that are being turned out.
Okay.
And then the school should not yield to the pressure of greedy parents.
Right. Sheikh, time is fast spent. We need to allow you go, but not before Joy. I think you have a question?
Yes, it's more like a comment. Well done, Sheikh. You're doing a good job. But again, I want to ask, do we still have history taught in schools? History.
It's still in the curriculum, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's in the curriculum.
It was brought back.
It was brought back because I also feel that if these children are taught, it might also help to groom the spirit of, pledging allegiance to the country and wanting to make a change when they grow up.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Sheikh Ibrahim Olaniyi, social observer, for coming on the program today. We appreciate your